Fingerstyle Thursday. Hello. Welcome to Fingerstyle Thursday number 54. This week we're talking about pull-offs, but we're talking about them in the key of C minor. So actually that means I'm talking a lot about the key of C minor and a C minor scale. Now, most of you probably know your nice C major scale, but actually a C minor scale is less common, let's say. That's the good thing. So basically, if we take our first string, our A string, if you find the third fret, that's your C. So then next you'd have the fifth fret and then the sixth fret. And that sixth fret is the big difference of the minor third versus the major, which would be 3, 5, 7. Happy? Curious. So we go 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, and then 1, 3. And that is our C minor scale. So all I'm doing for this piece is basically I'm just pulling off between one note of the scale to another note of the scale on the A string. That's all that's going on the A string. Etc. So that's all I'm looking at it as, is the C minor scale, and that I'm basically picking two notes and pulling off because I want you to practice your pull-offs because they're really important. Now with pull-offs on that, the biggest thing we just need to make sure is that you're just not lifting your finger off. That's me just lifting my finger off. Do you hear that? No. So basically it is literally in the name, you want to almost pluck with your left hand. And so I'm always sort of pulling the string more towards the floor, but you've got to keep that index finger basically nice and also sort of seated. Good pull off. So as I'm just pulling off basically all the way down a C minor scale, you can use a nice C open string to back it up because it's a C minor. And that still sounds cool. This is the piece without basically missing all the harmony. But it still sounds quite cool, right? Because like I said, all I'm doing is playing that C minor scale with that repetitive C. Now, in order to make that more sort of complex and add more harmony to it, I'm also thinking about how to play my C minor scale on the second string. And all I'm going to do then is if I have scale on one string, scale on the other, if I pick two notes and play them together, I create a chord. So basically, whatever note I'm looking for on my first string, there we go, so that's part of my C minor scale, I'll then look at basically my second string and try and find a stretch that's not too bad, and that I will pick another note from the C minor scale. This is a C and a G string, so they're both part of your C minor chord. Anyway, a C minor chord is C, E flat, and G. So if I play all those together, I have a form of a C minor chord. Now, if I continue to do this around the neck, so then if I go to my next note, and then again find another note from my C minor scale but on the second string, and play them together, and keep doing that, I start to create my own versions of a C minor chord. Now, one of the good brains of the internet, Christopher Davis Shannon, always says that chords aren't real. And this is a very good example of you can just create chords as long as you know your scales and a bit of theory. Once you get comfortable with that, not only can you make your own chords, but you can also, basically that's where improvisation comes from. Because then you know where you're going on the neck. And then basically you can start to add in extra chords. So the extra chords that I'm adding in for this piece, we have an A flat major, which basically is an A flat major 7, but it's a G chord, upper fret. That's an A flat. And then actually if we go 2 frets up, that would be a B flat. Yes, this is a B flat. This is a B flat in an A shape. This is a B flat in a G shape. Movable chord shapes are going to be your best friend on the ukulele. Learning them is a very, 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 very good idea. So basically I'm just using an A flat, a B flat, and I use a G minor there as well. But that G minor is also movable. If you play an E flat on the 5th fret, you also have a G minor. So you have lots and lots and lots of options. Right, enough waffle, let's get on to the actual piece itself. So basically our first shape here, we're on the 11th fret of your 2nd string with the middle finger, and then the 10th fret on the 1st string with the index finger. I use my pinky to pull off from the 13, so you want that 13 down straight away, but you also want the index down on the 10 also. So you basically want them so then you can pull off nicely. Now the right hand pattern, what we're doing is basically we're playing them in groups of 4. So the first group of 4, I'm strumming and then pulling off the 1st string. So I'm pulling off the 13 to the 10. Like that. And these are 16th notes, so that's technically 1 E. And then I'm going to fill the extra ander with basically 1 E ander, 1 E ander. And that's 4th string with my thumb, 2nd string with index. Strum, pull off 4, 2. Strum, pull off 4, 2. So for every new bar, I always add that strum. So basically for the 2 E ander, the next part of the pattern, rather than strumming, I'm just going to pluck the pull off. So I'm going to pluck the 1st string with a middle finger, that's 2 E, and then going to pluck 4 and 2 again. 2 E ander, 2 E ander. So I go 1 E ander, 2 E ander. Next we have 3 E ander, so that's the same as 2 E ander, 3 E ander. And then for 4 E ander, we're only going 4 E and. So that's pluck first, pull off, and then pluck 4th. And just basically to give you a little pause so you can move to your next shape into that. So altogether that will go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and bang. Next bar. Now as I'm descending down the neck, basically my middle finger actually never leaves the fretboard, so that one's always grounded. So don't let that middle finger, just always try and use that to stay on the fretboard. So my next shape basically is 10th fret and 10th fret on the 2nd and 1st strings, which I'm playing middle and ring, and then my index finger is going to be the 8th fret 1st string. And that's where that pull off comes from. So that's 10 and 10, middle finger on 2nd, ring finger on 1st. And I've also got my index on the 8th fret 1st. And that's your pull off. Now the hardest thing about the rhythm is getting pull offs basically correct in rhythm. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Pull offs are about power and not speed. Yes, they help you play quicker, but you don't want to play them like as fast as you can. You still want to keep the rhythm exactly the same as if you were plucking it da 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 da. So the next shape we then come to, after we've played that little guy, we're basically moving down to the 6th fret, and I'm still using this, basically, this middle and this ring combo, but then I'm going to play the 5th fret on the 1st string of my index finger, and that'll be the pull off. If you have a more comfortable way of playing this, that's fine, because it's not the most comfortable shape, so have a play around to see what you find comfortable, but for me, this is the way that works best. So again, we're going to do exactly the same. Then we end up changing because we come to a little chord break. So this is where we play our A flat major 7, and like I said, it's a G chord, upper fret, and we're going to play 8th notes. So we're going to pinch 1, 4, and then 2 and 3. 1, 4, 2, 3, and we count that as 1 and 2 and. So I'm playing thumb middle, thumb index, thumb middle, thumb index. So once we've done that, 1 and 2 and, we're just going to move up 2 frets to our B flat, because isn't that a much easier way to get to a B flat rather than changing shape? Yes, Sammy, good. Okay, so there we're going to do the same, but we're basically going to play 3 and 4, and again then give ourselves a little rest. So we're going to go 3 and 4 and. So I'm pinching 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, rest. So that goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I'm into my next bar. So basically then for the next bar, we're back to this double 8 shape here with a 6 here. Still the same. Then we go back to our 6s, double 6s with a 5 here. And then we actually have a new one. So this time we need middle finger on 4th fret, index on 3rd fret, 1st string. Now for this one, you can either pull off, we're basically going to pull off the 5th fret on the 1st string. So you could use your ring finger, but for me, I find it more comfortable with my pinky. Neither is right or wrong, you just play which one and think whichever one works best. The most important thing really is the middle finger that stays there. So whichever finger you decide to pull off with doesn't really matter, but I find most people try and avoid the pinky. So if you are trying to avoid the pinky on purpose because your pinky pull off suck, use your pinky. Okay, so again, that's going to be exactly the same. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Then we're back to A flat. And then we're going to a G minor here. Now I did say you could also use, if you wanted, a different G minor. If you play an if you play an E minor, but basically instead of on the 2nd, play on the 5th, then that would work a treat. So again, it's all about movable chord shapes. So if that is an E minor, you know it as an E minor. If you move it up a fret, it's actually an F minor. But if you move it up then 2 more frets to the 5th fret, it's a G minor. So for that last chord, if you prefer, rather than playing there, you could play that G minor instead. Just play whichever one you prefer the sound of. That's it. A flat, G minor, or A flat, G minor. Have a play around. The very last chord that we're going to basically finish on is my favourite way to play a C minor chord. So index finger on the 3rd fret 2nd string, and then pinky on the 6th 1st. And that is a lovely C minor chord. Cool. If you fancy liking and subscribing to this video, please do. I've got to talk really fast. I also have all the sheets and Patreons and do lessons every month. Goodbye, I love you. I've got seconds to scream.